Hey, welcome back to me in Overdrive. So I know that my last video was really long and that it was mostly about me and my song, so I'm sorry if it wasn't very interesting, but I did warn you guys in my first video that this video series will be mostly about me. But I promise that this video will be a lot shorter. I'm still working out the kinks, so just bear with me. Anyway, the witty title of this video is Third Time's the Charm. Hopefully I'll hit the sweet spot this time. So, since I said I would do this from the very beginning, here's my week overview. This past week and past weekend have been pretty uninteresting. Not much happened, and school was school, IB classes were IB classes, and there were really only two interesting things that happened. The first thing is that I finally started my final essay for my IB English HL1 class, the World Lit paper. The second thing is that since I took the official IB chemistry exam, I didn't have to take my in-class chem final, which meant that I got to spend the past chem classes last week in the library watching Netflix and working on the story that I've been writing. So yeah, that's kind of all I'm gonna say because I realized that I should talk less about stuff that I'm doing and more about stuff that lots of people can relate to. On that note, this past week was a 4-day week. Yay for no school! On to the weekend. Technically for me, weekend starts once school ends on the last day of the week. So, on Thursday, I went home and I got to go see Pitch Perfect 2. Also on Thursday, I finished the first season of a show called The 100. Then on Friday, since it was a teacher workday, we didn't have any school, I went to the mall and did a bunch of shopping for my Chicago trip this summer. On Saturday, in the morning, I had my piano lesson for which I was completely unprepared for. I totally forgot to practice. And then I watched Futurama until evening. Yeah, Saturday was pretty relaxed. Sunday, same thing, I watched Futurama until about 2 and then I started filming. On to the relatable stuff. So I asked around this past week and I got a suggestion that I should review some stuff that I have either read or seen/watched. Which is why I explicitly mentioned Pitch Perfect 2, Futurama, and The 100. So, let's start with Pitch Perfect 2. I liked it more than Pitch Perfect 1 because 1, it was funnier, 2, it was less cheesy, and 3, the songs were just a lot better. Pitch Perfect 2 also had this theme of being true to yourself and not being afraid of the world or life after college or whatever. And that was okay because I can kind of relate to being afraid of moving on. My only complaint was the other people in the movie theater. I mean, come on, it's like no one has any regard for other people trying to watch the same movie. First, there was this group of middle-aged to older middle-aged single women that were so obnoxious. I wanted to get up in the middle of the movie and start yelling at them that they were too old to be watching a movie that was aimed at teens. I mean, it's okay to have a girls' night, but on a Thursday night? And come on, if you're gonna complain about the men in your life, at least be a little more discreet or quiet or polite. I mean, there are other people trying to watch this movie. Not all of us care about the guys in your life. Then there was this group of Asian kids behind me, and holy fish, those guys were annoying. They laughed out loud at everything, even when it wasn't funny, and their running commentary about the characters and songs was not appreciated. So yeah, that was my movie experience. Other than that, Pitch Perfect 2 is a great movie. You should totally see it, and you don't need to see Pitch Perfect 1 to go see Pitch Perfect 2. I recommend just reading a synopsis about Pitch Perfect 1 online and then going to see Pitch Perfect 2. That way you'll save yourself an extra dose of cheese. One other thing, because Pitch Perfect is about an a cappella group, I was inspired to write an a cappella song because, honestly, the recording equipment that I have for recording musical instruments is not very good. Testimony to that in my previous video, so stay tuned for that. So, on to The 100. I finished watching the first season of it on Netflix, and it's a really good show. I mean, there's great characters, great character development, not a ton of drama, and there's some really good survival skills. And if you like The Hunger Games, I would recommend this. It's kind of similar to that. My only complaint was the makeup. You know how sometimes in Survivor shows, and not the reality kind, mind you, the ones that are made up, in those shows, people are always dirty? What is up with that? I mean, you have water, you drink lots of water, but you can't be bothered to have proper hygiene? It's like the first thing you looked for was a source of running water, but it never occurred to you to take a shower? Ugh. Anyway, aside from the glaringly obvious script errors that you don't notice until after you've seen the show, it was a really good show, and I highly recommend it. Last but never least, Futurama. This show is really funny, and And granted, it's not for everyone, but if you've seen The Simpsons and liked that, then you'll definitely like this. It's produced by the same people. Even if you didn't really like The Simpsons, I would still recommend this because it's a little bit more toned down comedy. However, if you haven't seen The Simpsons, turn off this video right now and go watch it. Just one episode, that's all I ask. I love, love, love Futurama. It's witty, it's funny, and even though about half the references are before my time, they're funny enough that I can still appreciate the comedy without understanding it. This is my second time watching the entire show, and I'm really glad I did because it's super funny. Although there are some people, like my dad, that just stopped watching in the middle, and that's totally understandable. It's not for everyone. Sometimes you just get tired of the comedy, but if you even watch a little bit, I'm sure you'll like it. So yeah, that's about it. Hopefully that was better and shorter than my last video. One last thing before I go, for those of you who have a 4-day weekend, yay, and I hope you enjoy it. For those of you who don't, at least enjoy your 3-day weekend because it's Memorial Day on Monday. And I'm sorry about the brightness changing throughout the video, the sun keeps going in and out, and I'm not sure how to fix that. Anyway, thanks for watching and check in next week for a new video.